Welcome to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita and KSUN Community Radio. NAMI is a National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are the largest grassroots advocacy network for people with mental illness and their family members, with over 800 national affiliates and 13 Kansas affiliates, with NAMI Wichita being one of those 13. We provide awareness, support, education, and advocacy for people affected by mental illness. Our purpose here is to provide a community conversation on KSUN Radio that gives insight into what it's like to live with mental illness. Our intention and hope is that our program will change attitudes, assumptions, and stereotypes about people with mental health conditions, and in so doing, we will stop the stigma associated with mental illness. My name is David E. Larson. I am very pleased and proud to be your host today, and I am a person living with mental illness. I'm in recovery from major depressive disorder. Like everyone, I struggle with the ups and downs of emotions and the challenges of being fully human, but I am doing great, and I know I have many gifts to offer my family, my friends, and my community. Now, before I get too far into the program, I want to introduce David Peterson, our executive producer. Hello, David.
Hello, David.
And our technical producer. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, David.
And hello, Matthew. And our helper for Matthew is Mike, which is Matthew's guide. Hello, Mike.
Actually, I think I'm the executive producer.
Okay, yes, you are the executive producer, but we used to say
that would
executive
explain
producer
why-
with
that
him.
would explain why I'm wearing a tuxedo.
Right. And to our listening audience, he's not wearing a tuxedo.
I'm not wearing pants.
Oh, yes, he is too. Oh, for Pete's sake. Anyway, thank you all for being here and sharing with me and our guest today. And speaking of our guest, it is my pleasure to introduce Susan. Hello, Susan.
Hello.
It's so good to have you here. So let me begin with our conversation question that I ask everyone. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
And I grew up in Wichita, Kansas.
All right. What high school did you graduate from?
Southeast High School.
Southeast.
Buffalo.
So they are the Buffaloes, is that it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They are the Golden Buffaloes.
Golden Buffaloes. Cool. All right. So a shout out to Golden Buffaloes. Yay. Woo. All right. So what is your diagnosis?
Bipolar.
You're bipolar. Now, is that bipolar 1, bipolar 2, bipolar whatever?
I'm not sure. I know it's the one that has hospitalizations.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, for our listening audience, what bipolar means is that she has both depressive modes or moments in her life, as well as manic moments or excited moments, opposite of depression. So let me throw in some other questions here for you. When did you first encounter the work of the National Alliance on Mental Illness? And what have you been doing with NAMI?
It was around 2008. I went to Project Independence.
Okay.
And at the time, their executive director and her assistant taught peer-to-peer.
Uh-huh.
So I took peer-to-peer while I was there.
Okay.
And then I got my mom involved for a short time in the family.
Family to family class?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Excellent.
And then I haven't been as involved with it. I want to start getting
More involved.
by going to their meetings again.
Okay, awesome. Wonderful. All right. Well,
I know she is a very active member in Breakthrough, though. I think.
yes, you are in Breakthrough. What do you do in Breakthrough? Or what have you done, I should say?
Just about anything.
Anything and everything.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been there 18 years.
18. That is phenomenal.
So, what I did for 7 years, because you try to find something that you have an interest in,
Mm-hmm.
is I did their newsletter and put pictures in their newsletter and put that together
Oh,
for
okay.
7 years. And now what I've been doing lately is they have money from, I think it's grant money, to make other clubhouses in the state of Kansas. So I've been going to Hutchinson to work on their new clubhouse
Wonderful.
there.
Okay. So you've been really busy and on the road.
Yes.
All right. Sort of like Willie Nelson on the road again. So, all right. Well, what is your favorite activity that you've done at Breakthrough? Is it the newsletter, or is it anything in the cooking area, or is it just meeting people, or what's your favorite thing?
I think the favorite thing is even when I'm dealing with depression, you go there and you know everyone and it's like a family,
Okay.
and you just become enmeshed in the environment of Clubhouse, what it is from being there so many years, and it just being able to help out in any way.
Okay. Fair enough. So,
Would you say it's stigma-free, Susan? I think it is myself. I think it's.
I think it's pretty stigma free. It's a place where you're allowed to talk about your mental illness if you want to, but that's not required. You can. It's more to give you activities to do during the day, like help in the kitchen or help with attendance or the newsletter, where you're not thinking about your mental illness while you're there as much.
okay. Well, it's time for a break now. This is Our Own Voice on Kaysen Community Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita and Kaysen Community Radio. NAMI is a national alliance on mental illness. Our Own Voice is intended to humanize a misunderstood, highly stigmatized topic of mental illness by showing that it's possible and common to live well with a mental health condition. So, Susan, during the break, I told you some of the questions we're going to ask, and one of those was, do you have any pets?
No, I'm gone a lot from home, so I feel it's unfair. I grew up with dogs and then had cats, but
Okay.
I'm gone too much.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, but you are a pet lover, right? You
Yes.
do love animals.
Yes.
Great. So, do you have any hobbies?
I love to go to the Sedgwick County Zoo.
Excellent. All right.
I've volunteered there a few times. over
Have
the
you
years.
really? That's wonderful. So, do you participate in their Zubilee that they do?
No, I asked to this year and it was already taken, so I'm going
Was
to try
it?
for next year.
Fair
as
enough.
a volunteer.
I have some friends who participate with that, and they tell me all about it every year, and I never go.
It looks fascinating.
It really does. Yeah, it's a great way for them to help. So they step in and help, and yeah, it's a great way to help. So, do you do any other volunteer work around the community?
I haven't done it for a lot of years, but I volunteered at the Kansas Humane Society.
Wonderful. That's another great place to be.
So I do have a great love for
Okay.
animals.
Wonderful. So, well, let me double back here and ask you, when were you diagnosed?
In April of 2000.
April of 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what were some of the issues that led up to your diagnosis? Like, what was it stress that sort of brought it on? Do you know, or do you not even know what possibly caused it?
My parents adopted me as a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and they had alcoholism in their lives, but still worked their jobs and everything. But I came to find out after my dad died that raised me, that's what gave me the breakdown. I started having odd behavior.
Okay.
Like family members thought I was on drugs and I wasn't on drugs. It was the mania and how it got started. I was on antidepressants without a mood stabilizer from my regular doctor, and it pushed me into a mania,
Okay.
which
Because
is very odd behavior.
which was all because of your father passing.
Right. That's
Okay.
what. And then I found my birth family, and my biological father had schizoaffective.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I found a link. He'd been in Vietnam. I think he had PTSD too, but he definitely had schizoaffective.
Okay, and for our listeners, just to remind you, schizoaffective disorder is when you have schizophrenia coupled with a mood disorder, such as depressive or manic depressive, or bipolar is not the common term now. So that's what schizoaffective is. So how has your diagnosis affected your family, your mom, your siblings, whatever?
My brother doesn't believe in mental illness, and we're not close at all, and
Okay.
barely talk to me.
Yeah.
He lives in Texas, but my mom has Alzheimer's, so we've had to talk over things with my mom, and he'll talk like 5 minutes, and that's it. He just has no patience for me
Wow.
because he doesn't believe in mental illness.
Yeah.
And then my mom is the one through the years that she left for 12 years right after I got diagnosed. Nothing against me, but she'd been married to my dad for over 30 years. And so she left to go live with my brother in Texas. And that's when I found Breakthrough that was a big support. The other thing I found a big support was my psychiatrist, Dr. Ruddy.
Okay.
And that's been traumatic for me these last couple of years. He was murdered by a patient
Oh, sadness.
in 2017. But with the support of Dr. Reddy, he was a great psychiatrist that would see you more than once a month. It wasn't usual times. He would see you many times.
Right.
So he was a great support. And then Breakthrough treated me like family, the staff there.
Right.
So I
Because-
had that support. But my mom was understanding because she was a psych nurse at one time.
Okay. That's interesting that your
Yeah.
mom was a psych nurse, but yet your brother just doesn't understand
But
mental illness.
She was an art teacher when we were growing up to be home with us. And she didn't really do a lot of psych nursing. She lived near Larned State Hospital, so she worked there in the 60s.
Okay. All right.
She was charge nurse at Larned State Hospital in the 60s, so she's seen it all.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, I'm coming up close to a break here, but let me ask you another question. Way down at the bottom there, it says, who is your hero or heroine? Do you have one in your life? Maybe your mom, maybe your dad.
I would say that, I mean, my dad, I was closest to him, and that's why
Okay.
I had that breakdown. But I would say, as far as, I wouldn't use the word hero, I'd use the word mentor. I look more for mentors.
Okay. Well, we're back to our next break. This is Our Own Voice on KSN Community Radio. We're talking with Susan about mental illness. We're going to take a quick break after these messages.
Our Own Voice is brought to you by NAMI. If you would like to learn more about the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the programs we offer, or get involved, please visit NAMI.org.
Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita and KSUN Community Radio. NAMI is a national alliance on mental illness. Now, I took a break really fast and I didn't get to talk about your mentor. So you want to share with us about who your mentor is or has been?
I have different mentors, but two of them that have been my mentors have been staff at Breakthrough.
Okay.
And one of them's Sean, and I've known him since 2005. And I even worked for Breakthrough a couple of years as staff, 2007 to 2008. And whenever anything would go wrong, Sean would back me up. He'd always be there to assist, and he's just been a great person and a great friend. And now he's moving up to be a program director at the Hutchison Clubhouse, so we're not going to see him as much. But I've just found different mentors that I look up to that I want to be like them, and Sean would be one of them.
Okay. All right. Well, so what are some of your trials that you have experienced because of your bipolar?
Um, it's both. I mean, the depression can be so crippling. The last 3 winters, I've thought at times, should I move away? But I know so many people here, because the cold gets me upset. And the last 3 winters, I haven't wanted to leave the house. The depression can really get to me. And then when I get manic, I shop too much. I spend too much money that I don't have, which is a common symptom with bipolar that you have.
Okay.
And then another thing is I'll get angry, unreasonable, like not thinking right when I'm in manic. And I've been on lithium for 18 years, and that's been at times that I've gone off of it, and the lithium's really saved me. So I feel that medication can really help someone with mental illness.
Right.
To
Yeah.
be able to lead a normal life.
Yeah, and it's what's important to note is medication works, therapy works, but they really work well together, don't they?
And then I even believe in what my psychiatrist that passed away that I had for 17 years, Dr. Reddy, was called holistic, meaning eat right, get enough sleep,
Yeah.
less stress, all of those things. But it's not always easy to do all those things.
This is true, but
Yeah.
you were so on point there, because they're showing now more and more that a large part of the serotonin that your brain helps with positive feedback and everything, that serotonin is actually manufactured in your gut. And so it just makes sense to give you a healthy diet to eat and to work with. And then, of course, couple that with exercise and all the other stuff that I fail to do miserably. So, yeah, but I'm sure you do great with that, right?
No, I'm not good on. I'm not good on the exercise and diet, but it's like I know this is what you've got. But something I do try to do is keep the stress down,
Right.
because I believe even if you're on medication, when you have mental illness, even if you're on medication to help it, if you have stress, the medication's not going to work
That's right. Or it's not going to work as well.
as well.
Yeah, very true. So, let's see, what else can I ask? Can we talk about your family? Your mother is still alive, correct?
She's in a nursing home with Alzheimer's.
She's in a nursing home with Alzheimer's. Okay. And your brother is in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other family or anyone else that you consider family?
I'm very close to my mom's sister.
Okay. All right.
So
You want to give her first name a shout out?
her name's Joyce.
Joyce?
My Aunt Joyce. Yeah.
Okay. Aunt Joyce, hello. How's that? So, anyone else?
I have lots of cousins and aunts, but I'd say I'm closest to my mom's sister and my mom's brother, Uncle Jerry, and his wife, Aunt Mary.
Okay.
And they all go to see my mom and
That's
keep in
good.
touch with me. So,
Excellent. All right. Well,
so I'm going to say this is a common thing that happens with mental illness is I don't happen to have kids. I'm in my 40s. A common thing that happens with mental illness is what you see is why I say they treat me like family at Breakthrough. You like we'll have holidays there. They're open 10 to 2 where they offer food there. The reason they do this is there's a lot of disconnect of family connections when you have mental illness.
you are on point there as well. Yes. And I'm not quite sure why, other than just families break down because of mental illness.
I think part of it's stigma.
Very possible. Yeah.
Well,
And-
I think even if your parents, I mean, in my case, my mom was a nurse with mental illness, but even if your parents say they understand it, they really don't, and they're kind of in denial you have it many times.
They don't want to believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that goes with many family members, not just parents.
Yeah, very true. And I think one of the issues with your brother is that he probably doesn't want to admit because of his own stigma. So, well, this is Our Own Voice on KSUN Community Radio. We are talking with Susan, and we are going to take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back to Our Own Voice, a partnership in mental health awareness in cooperation with NAMI Wichita and KSUN Community Radio. NAMI is a National Alliance on Mental Illness. Now, David, we come to your moment now where you get to give us that wonderful information number that we have for NAMI.
Are you talking about 316-686-1373?
Yes, or how the way I like to hear it said.
316-686-1373.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
And that is our information line. Call that, and please do not call it if you have an emergency or crisis. Call 911 or the crisis center, depending on your challenge. But call us to get information about our programs that we have going as far as classes or support groups. And we offer these continuously every month. We have support groups, and they're basically everything is free. We are an organization that's nonprofit, and we are either those living with a mental illness or we're family that have a person living with a mental illness. So we just want to give back. But we've also, this is being recorded just the same month that we moved to a different location, and that's 1010 North Main.
Yes.
And 1010 North Main is where Susan spends a lot of time.
Because that's Breakthrough Club.
That's the Breakthrough Club. So we are meeting there now, and I know Susan, I think you said that you are familiar with the Breakthrough Club, or you've been upstairs quite a bit too?
Well, when the building first started, Episcopal Social Services wasn't with Breakthrough yet, so we actually used both floors. We used to have case management. They did away with case management, and now we have a payee program for Episcopal Social Services through upstairs because Episcopal Social Services owns Breakthrough.
Right. They're the umbrella corporation above them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, what else can we talk about with Breakthrough?
Well, I didn't know you were a staff member. What was you doing the 2 years that you were?
I started out, my mentor at the time, John Slaughter, he used to work there. He was in the kitchen. He said, work in the kitchen because you'll get in the door. Because I'm not a cook. But the point of a member is you get the staff involved, so the staff help me. You get the members involved, so the members helped me cook when I was staff. So
Right.
I lasted about 3 months in that, moved to the business unit where I got to oversee the newsletter, attendance.
And you obviously didn't poison anyone through the food, so you can't be that bad of a cook.
So I made it through, and then
Yes.
my favorite year ever was 2008. We used to have a program set up through the high school where a teacher would come in weekly from USD 259, and I had a student that was a Breakthrough member get his high school diploma.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so that was my favorite year.
Oh, that is great. And
I love education.
that was 2009, you said?
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
All right.
I probably said that wrong. Yeah.
No, I think you said it right. I just got it wrong. So that is wonderful. Remind me again, if you can. You may not. What is the age range of the people that are at Breakthrough?
It's 18 or above.
18 or above, and you have people that are in their 70s, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In fact, we've had some of those people on here.
Fred James just turned 90.
Just turned 90. Okay, so now we know. Fred was a magnificent person to talk to, and he's a great artist himself. Let's see, what else can we throw
I
out?
enjoy Fred. He's a great advocate for mental illness.
He
Yes,
is. And he's fun to talk to. So
and
fun.
and a great businessman too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so do you have anything else that you want to add that you can think of?
Just I was in the situation that I didn't have insurance at the time, so I started through ComCare. I don't know if you have to have insurance now. This was back in 2000, and I'm saying ComCare helped me a lot at the time. I took day programs during their day classes. I was taught a lot about mental illness because I didn't know anything about it. This was completely new to me. I got a psychiatrist through their program.
And I'm going to have to cut you off now
Sure.
because we have been talking with Susan about mental illness. Thank you for joining us for Our Own Voice, and join us for our next Our Own Voice program.